In today's news, more private and public partnership is needed in the BVI, says Honorable Marlon A. Penn. Women and Men, Let's Talk Hysterectomy is set to take center stage. VG United hands Sugar Bowls their first defeat in a weekend full of goals. New York City seeking emergency aid and for Caribbean immigrants. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Hun, it's asking for your password.
Huh?
You were logged out. I need the password.
BR,
What's the rest?
BRANDI, the number 4, EVER?
Who's Brandy?
We're like the password that isn't your ex-girlfriend's name. CG Insurance. Good like that.
I should have changed it.
You should have.
You're right. That's out.
That's 6.
That's out.
With worldwide medical coverage and affordable premiums, we're like a home match that isn't played at your actual home. CG Insurance. Good like that.
My turn. Oh, come on, guys.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. It's Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. You're watching 284 News out of Tortola in the Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant, and I want to thank you so much for joining us. Beginning our newscast on the local scene, social commentator Claude Skelton-Klein believes that it is important to the pursuit of true democracy in the next general election that all members of the Virgin Islands population, regardless of social or immigration status, engage in discussions and discourse surrounding what direction the electorate should take. Klein spoke on the January 7th edition of his Honestly Speaking talk show.
Between March 12th and May 12th, democracy will have a chance to speak, meaning that the people will have an opportunity to register their collective will relative to the election of public offices. I want to, one, encourage all of you, no matter your immigration status, to pay attention, to participate, to sit, to discuss, to talk, to think, and reason together. Black, white, regional neighbors, doesn't matter, of a way forward.
Klein reiterated that in his view, democracy in the Virgin Islands has not been respected as it should, and it will be necessary in this election, that the people take back their power.
Where the will of a people is violated, then it ceases to be democracy. Where the will of the people are not being carried out, where the will of the people are not adhered to, and or where people don't even have a right to exercise their will, then you don't have a democracy. And we live in a democratic society. Power of the people. A country that should be, ought to be governed by the will of the people. That's why we go to the polls every 4 years, so that the people can note what their will is.
He went on to share his views on progression patterns recently seen in the political landscape and stressed that more often than not, persons who have performed well in supporting roles are not necessarily cut from the right cloth to strive as leaders.
Everybody who is a lieutenant doesn't mean that they're fit to be a general. Not because you're a lieutenant next to the general means that you should automatically become the general. because you may have lieutenant qualities, but not general capabilities. You follow me? Like if you were in church, not because you're the assistant pastor means you need to be the pastor. The assistant pastor has a different oil and anointing than the pastor. Let me put it another way. Not because you're the second woman means you need to be the first woman, or the second man needs to be the first man, because the first man anointing is different from the second man anointing.
Klein shares these views as much of the territory awaits confirmation on how the major political parties intend to compose themselves to contest the 2023 general elections. Minister for Health and Social Development, the Honorable Marlon A. Penn, believes that more private-public partnership is needed in the territory. More on this report.
Honorable Penn said that a move in such a direction would not only ease the financial burden placed on government, but it would also see more projects being completed at a much faster rate once executed in a proper manner.
We need to do more of those public-private partnerships. I mean, we've seen how they could work if they executed the right way. The football stadium is one good example. We have a facility that actually works. It survived the storms. People use the facility on a regular basis. We're now in the final step of that process to finalize that. I could see the same thing being a reality for the fishing depot in terms of ensuring that you have a right partnership and right structure in place to be able to drive the economic growth. I think once people have a vested interest in these things, they have to actually put more effort into making them work and making them successful.
Penn also spoke on the bureaucratic structure of the government, which he said oftentimes makes it difficult to get projects completed.
The bureaucracy of government makes it very difficult to get anything done. You have to go through a long, protracted process sometimes just to get a project executed. And now we have the new Procurement Act and all the requirements therein that makes it very difficult for projects to get going. I think after a person gets used to it and the process gets more familiar, I think you can see things moving a lot quicker. But I think the public-private partnership model, it can work if it's executed the right way.
Touching on the Red Bay Dock re-expansion project within his district, Penn said a private-public partnership is intended for the fisheries section of the project as part of the existing plans. But this, he said, will include the fishermen having operational control of the dock on a daily basis.
And if you've seen, particularly in my community, what we were able to do at the Red Bay Dock, we started the process back then when I got elected to transform that area to be able to facilitate that.
Right.
All right. We started to put the infrastructure in place. We now have a fully bulkhead. Now the dock is about to be completed this year to facilitate the fishermen in that community. The next phase now is to build the fishing depot,
right.
within that community to be able to facilitate to land the catch. So I am not just talking. I have the evidence that we have been moving in that community to get the infrastructure in place to get those things done. But one of the areas that I've developed, we developed a plan in the 8th district, and we had this concept of a district council. And we also had the concept of having what you call a co-op,
right,
between the government and the fishermen. So the intention wasn't for government to run the depot, but to have the fishermen be the ones that actually run the depot with a public-private partnership with the government, with certain rules and stipulations in place in terms of how it would work, what that partnership would work, and what government's contribution would be to this co-op in terms of running the depot.
Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
And up next, we have more local news. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break.
Father Jesus, that line you long like church service. Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes,
Good
Sonny.
morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Top of power.
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top up power?
There are many ways to enjoy life, like so many ways to count on Popular.
Introducing a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons. I'm taking you outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's the best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Virgin Gorda to Jos Van Dyke, not forgetting Anigada. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing. We are the movers and shakers of this generation. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman. Season 4 by yours truly, Ron Grant. Raising a generation of greatness. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. on 284 Media. Welcome back, everyone. Continuing on the local scene here in the Virgin Islands, on January 21st, women are encouraged to bring their men and have a convo in the tropic. Let's talk hysterectomy. This WinBVI initiative is the brainchild of Mrs. British Virgin Islands Globe 2022, Dr. Arlene T. Penn. It takes place from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. on January 21st at the Butu Mountain Estate. Tickets are $40 and transportation will be provided from the Cromar parking lot to the estate once registered and ticketed. Now, Dr. Penn, a cervical cancer survivor, continues to share her experiences with girls, women, and men intentionally.
No fix, live, win. It's personal because I am a cervical cancer survivor. And for years, I used to walk around in this community. And I was so comfortable telling people that, hey, I'm a cancer survivor. But I was ashamed to tell people that I was a cervical cancer survivor because you see, and as I've been saying it quite often, one of the most difficult conversations for a woman to have is that of her reproductive system. Because your reproductive system is seen as the prize and the pride of a woman. So you don't want to talk about that part of your body.
Especially when the ability to has been taken away.
Yes. So I have decided that, hey, when you read statistics from the World Health Organization, that some 600,000 women across the globe were diagnosed with cervical cancer. And then some, 300,000 women died as a result of cervical cancer, and I am alive. And I am alive, and God helped me, God saved me. I think it's wrong for me to just sit down and just not say anything, especially if I know that early detection saves lives, saved my life. So it can save a number of women, because very often, sometimes we only find out at the last minute. And sometimes we're at stage 3, stage 4. But if you are actively checking, getting those pap smears done, your routine pap smears, it can detect the cervical cancer from a very early stage so that you can protect yourself and do all the necessary steps that you need,
of course,
so that you can become well, so that you can win in the end.
Now, during our sit-down, she also spoke of the importance of having men at the table to engage in these conversations.
Well, the hysterectomy is the removal of uterus, your womb.
Okay.
It means, therefore, that two things happen. One, you would no longer be able to have children. And two, you would no longer see your menstrual cycle, your menstrual.
Okay.
So you wouldn't see your period, right? So those are the two things that really happen to you. But they don't have to be you. You see what I'm saying? You still can live life.
That procedure does not have to define who you are.
No, because I thought that it would have defined who I was, but it doesn't define who I am. I define who I am, and that's the most important thing. I remembered when I was hemi-harming. That's what we call it, the local term, hemi-harming, in terms of whether or not if I should do a hysterectomy. But it was to save my life, you see? And I had to go through some counseling before. I went to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute and they took me through counseling before because my mindset was, this is what made me who I was, woman. And they took me through a mental mind shift so that I could see things in a different way. And that's one of the conversations that we'll be having at the events. I don't want to talk.
A number of speakers will be, of course, sharing a different perspective during the event, and Dr. Penn shared who some of those speakers will be.
Persons have said to me, why would you talk about, why would you say those, why would you even talk about those things?
Why would you not?
But why would I not? Because I think that if I firmly and truly believe that God has saved me, I have a responsibility to share that information. The problem is we do not share information. So because we don't share information about these things, other women suffer in silence. Because it's only when I open my mouth, you heard women say, you know, I've had some abnormal cells because my pap smear came back. It's abnormal. What do I do? There are women who have died. Men came to me and said, you know, my mother died as a result of cervical cancer or ovarian cancer, and she never said anything or never did anything, you know. So I'm happy that you're actually saying something, because then I can then encourage my sister and I can encourage my brother to help my sister. So these are some of the conversations that I think if you don't have the conversations.
Of course, unfortunately, there is still quite a number of stigma surrounding, of course, cervical cancer and having hysterectomies, and Dr. Penn also addressed this matter.
So the person I've selected to have that conversation with me would be that of Dr. Kedrick Pickren, right? He is a physician and an OBGYN. And as a matter of fact, when he was a fifth doctor I would have spoken with when I tried to figure out what my next steps were going to be. And he said, listen, you don't have a choice. You either have to stop running from it or you shall die. So you have to figure out what you want to do. And if you don't make the decision for you, at least make it for your boys. Those were his exact words. And I remember asking myself, because I didn't know him, and I remember asking myself, well, what kind of doctor to send me to?
A very honest one.
But he was very, very upfront, and and I went for my referral, went for the transfer, and I ended up at the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. So I believe that Dr. Pickren would be ideal, because considering he was the one who really gave me what were a number of the different options that I may or would have had to go through, and what to expect and what to expect after. So I felt that he would be indeed a good doctor, and considering that also he deliver babies.
Gotcha.
And he would be able to give women insight as well into fibroids, what it means, and what you can do to help prevent.
For more information on the Win BVI Foundation, visit their Facebook page. For the full interview with Dr. Arlene T. Penn and myself, visit all 284 media platforms. A quadruple of goals from VG United was enough to uproot the league leaders Sugar Bowls FC to hand them their very first defeat of the season in the Virgin Gorda Derby at the Recreation Ground on Sunday. Our Kamal Haynes has this very special report.
VG United led the game 4-1 into added time at the end of the 90 minutes after goals from Sheldon Harry, Thomas Albert, Adrian Adams, and Sheldon Tony in the 35th, 60th, 77th, and 89th minute respectively. But despite the comfortable lead into the extra time for VG United, Sugar Boys silenced the crowd with two quick back-to-back goals as the game ended 4-3. The goals for Sugar Boys came from their new signing Oral Perry in the 44th minute, while the two late strikes came from Osworth Holder in the 91st and Darryl Redhead in the 97th minute. VG United's manager Jermaine Abrams commended his team following the victory, when he said, and I quote, "It was a very good game and a much-needed victory to boost our confidence for the rest of the season. We are still in the hunt for the title with this win. They scared us a bit as we switched off at the end, but overall, I'm happy with the way we played," end quote. Well, speaking on Sugar Boys FC first loss was Captain Redhead, who said, and I quote, "It's a game they will remember for a long time. They came out and showed they wanted the victory more than us. They did not let us play our game. We could not play like we wanted to, and their younger talent put them on top," end quote. But meanwhile, in the other games, the Rebels FC trashed Old Madrid FC in an 8-1 goal fest. Well, manager Lennon Ordain commended his team for the victory, stating that the team knew what they were supposed to do from the beginning of the game. Well, he said, and I quote, "We went in and executed, played a lot of possession football, and when we lost it, we made sure we recovered in a matter of a few seconds. We could have scored almost 15 goals, but it was still an epic performance by new signing Primo, and both Johari Lacey and Jamal Prentice, our two national team players, are top scorers in the National League," end quote. Well, in the Wolves versus Panthers fixture, the two sides battled to a 4-4 draw, with both teams going 2 goals up before the points were shared. Prevel Assen and John Samuel put Panthers 2 goals up before Marcus Robinson pulled one back on the cusp of halftime to open the door for the Wolves. Rush Broderick and Noel Maxwell then put Wolves up 3-2 before teammate Hugo Costa Liziaro made it 4-2 to widen the gap. However, Kernizan Chrisley pulled one back for the Panthers before Ezra Allen, saving the best for last, scored a stunning equalizer in the 2nd minute of added time at the end of the game. Reporting for 284 News, I am Kamal Haynes.
Up next, we take a look at what's happening across the region. We'll be right back with more news.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of the day. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, son.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. What on there? You must have cut fun topic.
It's okay, I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you? You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Is business slow, cash flow down, hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Freeze. Choose your mix. Choose your flavor.
Welcome back, folks. We're panning across to the United States Virgin Islands, where 23 young U.S. Virgin Islanders were inducted into the second cohort of the Government of the Virgin Islands Financial Fellowship Program on Tuesday. The program, called GVI Fellows, was conceived in 2021 and is intended to introduce more young people to public service, giving them opportunities to learn and be paid while being trained in high-paying fields. The new GVI Fellows were selected from over 50 applicants after vigorous screening from the Division of Personnel, officials said. In an official quote, they said during the interview process, we had the opportunity to work with some of the other agency heads, and we had at least 10 individuals that were referred right out of the spot and were offered jobs right then and there. So that was a really good opportunity for some of those individuals. Personnel Director Cindy Richardson during the Tuesday morning ceremony. That's what she said. And this year, the fellows will be assigned to 8-month rotations between the Virgin Islands Housing Financial Authority, the Bureau of Information Technology, and the Office of Disaster Recovery in conjunction with the Department of Public Works. Now, the first batch of fellows had just about 6-month rotation because they had 4 departmental assignments rather than 3. The new fellows were given words of encouragement by U.S. Virgin Islands Governor Albert Bryan, who really exhorted them to set high standards for their lives. He said, "Now you're GVI fellows," the governor told the cohort, "and it doesn't stop here." Mr. Bryan advised the cohort to ignore those who might now be envious of their progress. "You guys," he said, "are going to meet a lot of resistance on the job too. You can meet a lot of good people, but you're going to meet people who resent you for the fact that you make $55,000 a year." The governor continued, "You are worth it, and you will have to walk the walk and talk the talk, not only for yourself, not only for every other fellow, but for every young Virgin Islander that is trying to make their way back home." Now, part of the vision for the program is that current fellows become job creators in the future. Governor Bryan said, "My goal was never to make all y'all work for the government. That's not important," he explained, by adding, "It is even more important that you go out and start your businesses and you create jobs. See, you're not the people that are supposed to work for people. You're the people that are supposed to create jobs." The new cohort brings the total number of participants in the 2-year-old program to over 30. The first cohort is in the third 6-month rotation, and each fellow has been issued a laptop and other tools necessary for their new roles. Quite an amazing program by Governor Bryan and his administration, and we do wish the cohort the very best. The attorneys of Jamaican Olympian legend Usain Bolt have threatened to sue investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited if the millions missing from his account is not repaid within a 10-day period. Now, according to the law firm Frater, Ennis & Gordon, Bolt had a balance of US $12,758,181.74 on October 31st, 2022 on his account. But upon viewing his account last Wednesday, the sum observed was $12,047.65. In a letter to SSL dated on Monday, January 16th, the law firm demanded that the limited liability company repay their client Bolt the full sum owed to him from his investment account. In a quote, they said, "For your part, we are demanding that you pay over to our client the said sum of the United States $12,758,181.74 standing his account on the 31st of October 2022 as issued to him by you." Now, it also added, "We are demanding that this be done within the next 10 days, failing which we will take all legal action against you and your directors, which action will include civil and criminal procedures." The law firm said they are hopeful that they receive a response from SSL on or before January 27, 2023, warning that if a response is not received, they will make the necessary legal actions to recover the monies owed to Bolt. Viewers, that is it for today's news roundup. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Of course, be sure to follow us for your daily news updates at 284media.com, and of course, like us on Facebook at 284media.com and 284BVI on Instagram and Twitter. I'm Ron Grant. I will see you again tomorrow as we deliver your daily dose of local, regional, and international content. Happy Wednesday. Have a beautiful and enjoyable rest of the evening. Bye-bye.
Hello?
Wait, you had a lunch and get? You say you were sick? What happened to our wedding rehearsal?
No, babe. I'm actually watching the news right now. Take a listen.
Topping our newscast today, UFOs seen around Tortola Pier Park.
And District 3 residents outraged over no water supply. They simply cannot bathe. These and more stories when 284 News returns.
All right, babe, just get some rest, take 2 Advil, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay, honey. I see you later. I love you.
It's clear to see that Coconut Lounge is a place to be, the coolest cocktail lounge in the British Virgin Islands. A lounge like no other, with welcoming, professional service, and a breathtaking ambiance. Not forgetting a diverse selection of wines, beers, and signature cocktails. Cozy, comfortable, contemporary. Coconut Lounge at Tortola Pier Park. Visit us today.